Hello, and welcome back once again to Infinite Jeff, the project where I, the man who people call Jeff, read the book Infinite Jest to you. Eventually, it'll be back to one page at a time, one day at a time, although I'm reading a shit ton today of this very boring chapter. At least I think it's boring. It's kind of, man, I feel bad for my listener. Question mark? More than one, maybe, eventually, someday. So, sorry, Heather. This is no fun for me either. This is page 327. Let's go. Uninitiated adults who might be parked in a nearby mint green advertorial Ford sedan or might stroll casually past ETA's 4 easternmost tennis courts and see an atavistic global nuclear conflict game played by tanned and energetic little kids. And so this might naturally expect to see fuzzless green warheads getting whacked indiscriminately skyward all over the place as everybody gets blackly drunk with thanatopic fury in the crisp November air. These adults would more likely find an actual game of eschaton strangely subdued, almost narcoticized looking. Your standard round of eschaton moves at about the pace of chess between adepts. For those devotees become, on court, almost periodically. I mean, it's parody. Is that how that word is? Almost periodically adult, staid, sober, humane, and judicious 12-year-old world leaders, trying their best not to let the awesome weight of their responsibilities to nation, globe, rationality, ideology, conscience, and history, to both the living and the unborn, not to let the terrible agony they feel at the arrival of this day, this dark day the leaders have prayed would never come, and have taken every conceivable measure rationally consistent with national strategic interest to avoid, to prevent. Not to let the agonizing weight of responsibility compromise their resolve to do what they must to preserve their people's way of life. So they play, logically, cautiously, so earnest and deliberate in their calculations, they appear thoroughly and queerly adult, almost Talmudic from a distance. Is it Talmudic or Talmudic? It doesn't matter. Based on the Talmud. A couple gulls fly overhead. A mint green Ford sedan has passed through the gates raised portcullis and is trying to parallel park between two dumpsters in the circular drive behind West House, which is behind and to the next straining left of the Gatorade Pavilion. There's an autumnal tang to the air and a brittle gray shell of cloud cover, plus the constant faraway hum of Sunstrand's Plaza's Ask Me fan line. Strategic acumen and feel for realism vary from kid to kid, of course. When Earlib Sears Evan Ingersoll starts lobbing warheads at Sovor's belt of third-wave reserve silos in the Kazakh, it becomes pretty clear that Amnat has won Erlibsir to its side by making sinister promises about the ultimate disposition of Israel. Israel, even though nobody's Israel out there today, seems in a fit of pique to have somehow persuaded South Ave, who today is Brooklyn, New York's little hard-ass Josh Gopnik, the same Josh Gopnik who, by the way, subscribes to commentary, to expend all 16 of its green fuzzy warheads in a debilitating enfilade against Amnat dams, bridges, and bases from Florida to Baja. Everybody involved orders total displacement of mama populations. Then, without any calculation whatsoever, Indpak, who today is J.J. Penn, a high-ranked 13-year-old but not exactly the brightest log on the Yuletide fire, dumps 3 poorly tied jockstraps worth of MIRVs on Israel, landing most of the megatonnage into sub-Beersheba desert areas that didn't look much different before the blasts. When roundly kibitzed from the shelter of the Gatorade Pavilion under Schutt's Tower by Trolsch, Axford, and we'll find out who the third person is tomorrow, or whenever you listen to this next. But that was page number 327 of Infinite Jest. The thing that I do, you know what the fuck's up. You don't get to page 327 without knowing what the fuck's up. Or you do and you're lost. So that's on you, bro. But that was page 327. Yeah. 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 But before I leave it there, I do want to say something a little bit. It's hard for me to say, hard for me to put that out there. But it's something I got to say, get off my chest. Well, it actually turns out that